Hi guys, we did get a notice today showing us the new hero. We can see here the Blind King Silas. My queen forgive me, so he's obviously in the dog's house. But let's have a look. We can see some of his new skills, and there is an interesting gimmick, a new mechanic that is coming into play, which will only come into effect if you do have both of the heroes, Vienna and Silas. So surprisingly, or for me at least, Silas is actually a piercer. He's not a curse hero. He is a marksman for the piercer faction, and we can see his skills as well as his targets. He deals continuous damage and ignores defense are his main mechanics, it seems. His talent gives him 20% damage bonus to airborne units, and for every 5 instances of attack, the next attack becomes soul sniping. From what I understand, soul sniping means that it ignores all of the target's defense. That's what it seems to say on his ultimate. I believe this is his ultimate. I wish they would name these or tell us what they were. We just see an image with some text, but I believe that's his ultimate, and yeah, we'll go over to that next. So his talent initially, every 5 strikes, his next attack will have 100% defense ignore, so that's very powerful, and bonus damage to airborne units is nice, but so far there's not really any challenging content with airborne units, though we are waiting on new Gear Raid 3 stages, so maybe he could be very good there. Anyway, so the first ability that we can see in the list, which I would have assumed is his basic attack, but because it says activated, I'm guessing it's his ultimate. Hero damage is increased by 60%, and each attack becomes soul sniping that ignores all defense of the target for 15 seconds. So that's super strong. 60% damage increase is okay, nothing crazy, but ignoring all defense is very good, especially for guild boss. Next up we have whatever this is called, and that is if a unit within attack range dies, increase damage by 30% for 10 seconds, and this can only have an uptime of 50% as it has a 20-second cooldown. Then we have after attacking the same target for 5 seconds, inflicts Eye of Curse upon the target for 8 seconds. Eye of Curse will be triggered only once every 20 seconds, so around a 40% uptime. Soul Sniping will deal 50% extra damage to targets with Eye of Curse. So, makes him very good at single target nuking. He can just focus a target down. If he's on them for over 5 seconds, he starts to deal bonus damage. The uptime isn't very high, about 40%. Stacking Eye of Curse with Soul Sniping and all of his other damage increases should be pretty good. It's not as intuitive with his other passive we saw. When someone dies, he gains increased damage, because this kind of infers you're on a target for a long time. But I mean, maybe it makes sense if you're dealing with waves of enemies that are kind of tanky but not super tanky. Mainly I'm looking at this from a guild boss perspective. The Piercer faction is kind of like the second/third faction to using guild boss. You see Calypso doing really good damage so long as there is a Piercer lord such as Lunaria or Araka being used with her. I can imagine Silas being used to pad out those teams, and potentially being a really high damage nuker in Guild Boss because of his soul sniping, ignoring defense. I believe that's one of the reasons why the Infernal teams are very strong, the penetration bonus that is given by the Pyros and Twin Fiend ultimate. So I think maybe Silas is actually going to be very good for Guild Boss, but it really depends on his modifiers and how he scales. So those are the first 3. It seems pretty strong. That's his base kit. So some passive effects on enemies dying, effects on attacking the same enemy for multiple times, and effects on multiple attacks. So maybe he has a fast attack rate. If not, then building attack speed on him would be pretty good. Other than that, he just kind of seems like a single target nuker. He doesn't seem to be AoE at all. It does mention that he has continuous damage, but I don't see anything that infers that he has continuous damage, unless I'm misreading this. I guess this is his ultimate, and these are 2 passives, but there's no mention of his basic attack, I'm guessing is what we're missing maybe? But I don't actually see anything here that infers continuous damage, so I'm not sure what I'm missing there. Anyway, the final thing to mention is after Vienna the Wraith Queen is activated in Hero Gallery, like after you've pulled her, his soul sniping will deal 100% extra damage when Shadow Cloak, which I think is his ultimate, the first one here, is in effect. So very strong there, 100% bonus damage plus another 60% from ultimate activated, and being able to ignore 100% of the target's defense. So I think he'll have very high single target nuke. He'll probably be the strongest nuking marksman in the game in short windows, I guess. Setram is obviously the competition for this. I'm quite interested to see how Silas compares up to someone like Setram. Silas will be able to have the benefits of an Araka lead, so that's a big point in his favor, but don't really know until we see the modifiers, until we see his base stats, and until we see his attack interval. But from what I see on paper, he sounds very strong, and his benefit from having Vienna is incredibly powerful. So I'm going to be trying to save to pull for him, definitely. He seems very good. I also have Vienna, so I'll get this activation. But at first glance, he looks very good. and I definitely would like to get hold of him and see how he works. I don't have a lead, unfortunately, for the Piercer faction, so I can't take full advantage of him. But if you do have an Araka or a Lunaria, then definitely aim to get a Silas. I think he could potentially be very good in Guild Boss. So aside from that, there is also a small tweak to Vierna. I don't see any other tweaks, but Bone Shield is applied automatically as a passive from Vierna at the moment. And currently, mine is max skill, so I don't know which one's modified by this, but currently it provides 15% physical damage reduction, and it does 20% of her attack as magic damage a second in AoE around the target that the Bone Shield is applied to. And this bonus now, if you have Silas, the Blind King, then you will also be healing the target for 10% of the caster's attack every second. So for my Vierna, that works out about 1500 healing per second. The uptime on Bone Shield at max skill is around 40% as well. So this is nothing crazy really. This is kind of a nice to have, but nothing severe. I don't really know where I would actually count on this happening. Maybe it's just a thing that pops up and it's kind of helpful, but I've always never really thought much of Bone Shield to begin with, so yeah, I don't rate this too much, but it's nice. It's definitely a good benefit, but it's just a bit weirdly niche. Maybe this would be good in group arena, keep people alive. Maybe you don't need a healer, but it's just kind of inconsistent, so I don't know about that. And the healing is less than a Dolores at 1.5k, and mine is quite well built, so I don't know, it doesn't seem that great. But Silas himself seems incredibly powerful, so hopefully we get a video showing off his skills soon. They tend to do that. They release a teaser that the hero's coming, they release a stat block and some vague idea on what they do, and then hopefully we'll get a little video showing us how their skills actually look and work. So yeah, fingers crossed we get some more information on him soon. He seems pretty strong, so I definitely would like to pull him, though still I am a bit more curious about whoever this hero is that got teased yesterday, the fiery lady with white hair, whatever she is, whoever she is, because initially I thought Silas was going to be cursed because of his color palette, and instead he's a piercer. So maybe she's not infernal at all, maybe she's not nightmare, maybe she's a watcher. She could well be a watcher faction, so who knows. But fingers crossed they're good. Hopefully they come out soon. But that's all the speculation I've got for you today. Hopefully we get more information soon. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, guys, and bye-bye.